Tonight on The Cycle, coming to America just got more difficult for foreigners. A 16-year-old is accused of cutting up an Uber driver with a machete. And Ohio says Big Pharma is partially to blame for the opioid epidemic. All that and more coming to you live right now.
This is The Cycle. I'm Aaliyah Jasmine.
And I'm Jacques Slade.
Okay, so we know the NBA Finals are on right now, but our show's only 10 minutes long, so let's update you on today's headlines, and we'll get back to you to the game really, really quick.
Right. Don't go anywhere. Just watch us real quick.
Watch us.
All right. Here are the day's biggest stories. It's in case you missed it.
So French President Emmanuel Macron declared, "Make our planet great again," in response to Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Change Agreement.
Oh, that's a pretty good burn.
I like that burn.
Like, it's like melting the ice caps in the burn. I get it. Okay,
Yeah, he was accompanied by a jazz band playing the song "Summertime." Yeah, there's nothing like destroying the planet to some silky smooth saxophone riffs.
Yeah, it makes you feel good about it. All right, if you want to take, if you want our take on the decision, check out our segment on the Paris Accord from yesterday's show, which we'll post in the comments right now. Right, producer Mike? It's going up right now.
All right, next, a gunman opened fire and set gaming tables ablaze at a casino in the Philippines, injuring 25.
President Trump incorrectly called it a terrorist attack, but police say the suspect was probably just trying to rob some chips.
Which is a weird mistake for Trump to make. He's an expert on cleaning out casinos.
Ooh, all right, moving on. Donald Trump decided to keep the American embassy in Tel Aviv, at least for now, rather than move it to Jerusalem, as he promised on the campaign trail.
Yeah, moving the embassy to Jerusalem could have really solidified our alliance with Israel, but the problem is that it could also have validated Israel's claim to the entire city. That's a problem because Palestine and the Arab world support Palestine's claim to the east side of Jerusalem.
And that could have escalated violence and made peace in the Middle East even harder to achieve.
Finally, the president granted 14 exemptions from the ethics pledge he set up to drain the swamp.
That's right. The waivers make it possible for several of Trump's senior staff members and for some former lobbyists to work in areas they'd normally be barred from due to conflicts of interest.
For example, Steve Bannon can now contact his old publication and noted purveyor of fake news, Breitbart, and one ex-oil lobbyist can now weigh in on energy policy.
See, guys, no matter how far sea levels rise, it looks like the swamp in Washington, it isn't going anywhere.
Ba-dum-bum, and that's in case you missed it.
And now some important headlines that may have gotten buried in the big politics news. It's below the fold.
So the Trump administration debuted an insanely detailed questionnaire for U.S. visa applicants.
Applicants will have to list the exact dates of all international travel they've done in the last 15 years, as well as every single one of their old social media handles.
The White House says it's to fight terrorism, so sorry, Pinterest user ISIS lover 99.
Moving on, a Chicago court charged a 16-year-old girl as an adult after she allegedly stole a machete from Walmart and hacked an Uber driver to death.
This is terrifying, and this terrifying act appears to have been unprovoked and completely random. It's just the latest incident to have Uber drivers fearing for their safety.
Yeah, it's very shocking. Next up, do suspects in court have to unlock their iPhones for an investigation? Well, two judges in Florida have very different answers.
Yeah, one Broward County judge sentenced a man to 180 days in jail for contempt of court when he couldn't provide a working passcode. In a different case, in Miami-Dade County, a man who said he couldn't remember his passcode was not punished.
Legal experts disagree on whether being made to unlock your smartphone violates your Fifth Amendment rights, and the ease with which passcodes can be forgotten only complicates things. It may take the Supreme Court to actually settle this one.
Easy we fix is just having your passcode be 0000.
You should not say that on air.
That's what mine is. Okay, finally, Illinois became the second state to ban the gay panic defense.
Basically, this is like an insanity defense in court. If you committed an assault or murder, you could argue that your victim's sexual orientation made you go temporarily insane, and therefore you get a lighter sentence.
And if you're wondering, yes, that does mean I should get a lesser punishment because the person I murdered was gay is still a totally viable legal strategy in 48 other states. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is very crazy. And that's below the fold.
Okay, now it's time for a story about prescription drug abuse, but it's not Tiger Woods, so you might not have clicked on it. This is TLDR, or too long, didn't read.
Okay. The state of Ohio is suing 5 pharmaceutical companies, accusing them of helping to perpetuate the opioid addiction crisis. The lawsuit argues that companies lied about the addictiveness of drugs like Oxycontin and Percocet and also underplayed the risk of deadly overdoses.
Ohio lawmakers say that these practices contributed to a nationwide epidemic of addiction that led to more than 183,000 overdose deaths in the U.S. between 1999 and 2015. Opioid overdoses now kill more Americans per year than homicides.
Wow. The lawsuit claims that pharmaceutical companies knew about the dangers and pushed to get more and more of their pills out into the market anyways. The suit claims there were enough prescriptions written to provide every single person in Ohio 68 pills a year.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Earlier today, Ohio's Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor, well, she revealed that her 2 sons were struggling with opioid addiction.
It's really a shame. I'd love to see a future where the only drug abuse in Ohio is LeBron James's Rogaine supply.
Wow, too early. The game just started. Goodness gracious. All right. Who you got in the finals, by the way?
I think the Cavs are going to win tonight, but I have Golden State in 7.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Cavs. Me and producer Jeff are hardcore Cavs fans, so we're going to do it that way. All right, and that's TLDR.
Okay, and now a segment where we tackle an important but really boring subject. And just when your attention starts to fade, we hit you with something exciting to keep you engaged. This is Eat Your Veggies.
And tonight, we have the pleasure of bringing you offshore banking. Offshore banking.
Wow.
Yes. We know. It's dry. I mean, it involves tax codes, corporate finance, spreadsheets, pretty much, all the stuff that you lied about on your resume.
Yeah,
well, to keep you engaged, we'll break up the lecture with some laugh out loud clickbait, like this video of Mr. Bet flipping the bird at a fan, which kind of makes me think, can you technically give someone the middle finger if you only have 4 fingers on each hand? There's really no middle finger.
It's a valid argument. Okay, so let's get started. So what is offshore banking? It's when someone stores their money in a bank that's located in a country they don't live in. It's not technically illegal unless you're doing it to avoid paying taxes in your home country.
But a handful of countries, most notably Switzerland and a number of places in the Caribbean, have laws that guarantee their offshore accounts remain secret. That's why movie supervillains and real-life rich people always hide money in the Cayman Islands. We're losing you, so here's a hilarious map of the most common porn search typos by state. America sure loves its Lebsiam porn.
Okay, so why does this topic matter? Less tax revenue means money for schools, roads, social programs, big beautiful walls on your southern border, if that's the kind of thing you're into.
And we're talking about huge amounts of money here. A new study found that the richest 0.01% of people may be hiding up to 1/3 of their income in tax havens. One of the researchers estimated that up to 10% of the world's GDP is hidden in these accounts. That means governments around the world miss out on trillions of dollars they could be using to support their citizens.
Okay, I can tell that we're kind of starting to lose you again. So here's a photo of the newest Oreo flavor to hit the shelves. That's right, jelly donut flavor, my friends.
And I'm going to pass on this one. So
really?
Yeah, you can have the whole bag.
You look good to me. Okay, back to banks. Tracking this stuff it's incredibly difficult. Banks have tons of complex mechanisms to hide people's money. The true scope of the world's tax evasion problem didn't really come into focus until the last decade or so, when massive data leaks like the Panama Papers provided a window into the whole offshore banking world.
Yeah, we know that tax stuff is really dull. We get that. But this is a huge deal. The world's richest people illegally squirrel away trillions of dollars that should be going to the public good. Every time you hear about a public school teacher getting fired because of budget cuts or someone's government healthcare benefits being slashed, you should remember that the money to pay for those things, it actually exists. It's just in the wrong hands.
And that is Eat Your Veggies.
And finally tonight, let's end with some expert level trolling by the homepage editors at weather.com.
Okay, I loved this. As people who spend their days analyzing climate patterns, it's no surprise to see that they had a few thoughts about Trump's decision to leave the Paris Agreement, but did they make those thoughts known in an angry blog post like everyone else? Nope. They simply arranged the stories on weather.com homepage to read, so what happens to the Earth now? Still don't care? Proof you should. And more proof. And even more proof.
That's good. That's good. That's like Super shady. Super shady, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that forecast totally calls
For shade. Oh, okay. I see
and
what you
I had
did there.
to do
Okay.
that. It was, and that's The Cycle. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday because this cycle never stops.
In the meantime, be sure to like and follow us at The Cycle Live. That way you won't miss a story. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram.
Now go
we're
watch
on
the game,
Snap.
guys.
Oh, yeah. Go watch the game.
Make sure to follow us at The Cycle Live on Twitter and Instagram.
And like, share, subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook, all that good stuff at The Cycle Live.